Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our Ask Anything Facebook live session happening every month for you guys. We try to have different guests every month for you to ask questions about investing and also personal finance. I'm very honored that today we are able to invite Mr. Casey Lau from kclau.com. So he's one of the most prominent, I would say, personal finance blogger now in Malaysia. He has been started in this back in 2006, if I remember correctly, and throughout his journey, he has created many books and also courses on both investing and personal finance. So I just want to welcome Casey. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi Stanley, always great to talk to you because I like to see your face so handsome. And you're so smart.
No. We're always learning from each other, and I have to be honest, I learn a lot from you, both on the blogging techniques as well, and from personal finance and investment. Yeah. But so today we just want to maybe share some of your personal history, and also just to let other people know how can we really start saving and creating wealth for ourselves in the long-term future. So maybe can you share a little bit about yourself, when you first get started, when do you first start to realize that you need to save for the future?
I got involved. It'll be quite a long story, but I'll cut it short. Is that I don't know anything about personal finance until when I first working during my last few years. I think third year or fourth years of my university study in UTM, when I play music at night. So I was playing something like full time in Johor Bahru. One of the hotel is called Hyatt, but now it's no longer Hyatt. I don't know what is it called. But I play there on the piano, and then of course my partner, he's a flutist, so he's quite a successful entrepreneur. So he's the one who introduced me to the book. He said, "No, if you want to read books, other than your textbooks, then you should read this one." Rich Dad Poor Dad. Of course, my partner Robert T. is a flutist, so he's a famous one. So that's how I got to learn that. There's this topic called personal finance. I think it started that time that it already planted a seed to me that I want to achieve financial freedom. So how do we go about that? So of course, saving is the big part of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and once you got this book, what are some of the tips that you straight away implement when you're talking about saving? What's the first thing that you realize that you can maybe increase your saving?
This is talking about increasing saving, right?
Yeah.
Mainly, we have to. The most important concept is to live below your means. That means you have to, whatever you made, you cannot spend everything of it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, but the problem is, a lot of people I see in Malaysia is that we are not making enough. A lot of people are not making enough to, due to inflation, things are getting more expensive, and then the peer pressures, those kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So of course we are in quite a hard situation, but I would say last time even harder. During our parents' time, during our grandparents' time, it's even harder for them, but they managed to save, right? They can still live frugally.
Yeah.
And they have that habit until now. So why not us?
Exactly. I think you touch a point on how to live below your means. So a lot of people, we get some question in. I think we have a few questions who are students. I think from Guo Xuan, he was a fresh grad, and he's thinking about when he's first starting out, what are the things that maybe from your personal experience, how do you find ways to increase his your income, and then say when he's starting out, what kind of protection he should have, what's the main insurance that he should get, because he's bombarded by so many insurance agents that he don't know which one is really necessary, which one is not that necessary.
So shall we talk about insurance right now? I think there are a few parts of the question. So if talking about insurance, of course, everyone, when you start to make money, of course, you have to pay for your own premium, right? So never allocate more than 10% to do that. So if you are smart with the choosing the right policy, then probably you can get like 5% of your income to buy insurance, and you are fully covered already. So there are mainly 5 things to cover here. So the first one is the the first D is death.
Okay.
This is the whole life insurance, right?
Okay.
The second, when we buy death, it comes with the TPD as well, total permanent disability.
Okay.
Cannot work. And then the third one is the 36 critical illness. So before we come to the illnesses protection, it used to be only the first 2D. So the first 2D come first. But now you have to pay a little bit more premium so that you can accelerate the payment. So when you buy the illnesses, it comes with everything together. So it's just like we pay you earlier than before. Last time you have to wait until you die and you get paid, right? But now you've got illness also, you can get paid already.
Yes.
But after you got paid for the illnesses, then normally the other 2D you cannot claim already because you've like fully claimed.
Okay.
So the fourth one will be the medical card. So medical, mainly it just covered all your hospitalization expenses when you go to hospital. So this is like the necessity, I guess. When you are working for a company, normally your employer also provide that, but you have to check whether it is enough. Then the fifth one will be the personal accident.
Right.
So this is covering anything where you lost your fingers due to accidents, those kind of stuff.
Okay.
So mainly these 5.
Wow. Okay. So all these 5 coverage, when we talk about, we should spend no more than 5% on our income.
10% I would say,
Okay.
but 5% will be good.
Okay. And do you, as your income increase, do you increase your coverage as well?
Yeah, because all the figures it's all like calculated based on your income. So let's say 36 critical illness, how much do you want to cover, right? It's at least like 3 years of your income.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you earn more, then of course you increase your coverage.
Right.
Like death on TPD and the personal accident, those it comes with, it's also tied to your income. So it's more like when you should insure like at least like 10 times, 8 times, 10 times of your income.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think more people are starting to come in as well. Sebastian, say hi to you. Hello. Sebastian.
Hello.
Yeah, if you guys have any question, just comment down below. During our conversation, I'll pop them in with Casey. Going back to say your journey now, you are a musician now in Hyatt. I think the hotel now is Thistle in
Thistle.
Yeah.
How to spell that?
Thistle, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is it still 5-star?
Yeah, should be.
Oh, okay,
I haven't
okay.
been over there for a long time. Yeah, but so you were still playing, and is that a full time? You're playing full time at that time?
Last time, yes. It's like every week I will play at least like 4-5 nights.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a few musicians, but I take the majority of the time. I'm the one who performs. So, and then of course Hyatt is just one of the place, and I perform at the Mu Chuan. Last time we have a Mu Chuan Ming Ge Chan Ting there.
Okay.
So I perform there as well, and then I do a music production during daytime. So I do arrangement, music recording.
Okay.
I even cut my albums.
Wow. Okay.
I'll give it to you because I still have a few collectibles.
Yes.
That outprint so many years.
Wow. Thank you so much. Yeah. Definitely. So at that time, because you are continuously working, and do you reach a point where because you decided to venture into financial industry as well, you went into the insurance industry. Why is that the case? Do you see a better future?
Later on I moved to Penang, and then anyway, because of the music industry, how it works, right? CD sales is going down, so artists cannot make much money from cutting records. If they do album, they had to spend money, but they couldn't make it back because the CD sales are not there.
Okay.
So that's why they also cut down all the production costs, music production costs. Okay. That's when we are the guys at the back end. We are not having a lot of jobs to do. So even if you sell songs also, I compose song, and if even you can sell song. It's not like last time when you sell one song to Andy Lau and then you can buy a car with that money. Now it's like when you sell one song, probably you'll get 5,000, 10,000. Maybe it can last you for 1 month only. So you have to keep selling every month. Like 2-3 songs a year, then you're enough for your life. But no, that time is like over. So I have some times to do something on my daytime. So that's when my early mentor, Casey Chong, he recruited me to do financial planning.
Okay.
So he recruited me to do financial planning, and then when in, of course, the first license we get is to sell insurance. That's how I get started.
I see. Okay. And I guess at that time you're already starting to save up and invest as well. Is that the time that you're already starting to venture into saving and investing, or?
We try to do saving all the time, even though when you make less money, right? So of course I'm not saving a lot. I think the first 10,000 I saved, it was used for the house, buying the first house already. So it's like gone. So but I think it's still the best investment I made.
Okay. So you still recommend that when people are saving up, you should the first thing that you should save is probably your house.
Yeah, the first. Yeah, for young people, I think the first thing you should buy is not the car, not everything else. Maybe you can try stocks, but at the end, you still have to have the first goal of getting the first property.
Okay. So you should continue to drive a more affordable cars, just to get you.
My car is very affordable. It's like the first car is a 20 years old Datsun 120Y. That car, just a few thousand ringgit. I think I bought it like 7,000 or 8,000, but 5 or 6 years later I sold it like 3,000 or 5,000.
So you actually make a profit from your car purchase?
No, there's no profit. 7,000, but you sold it at 50% loss, but 50% bonus is still a few thousand.
Yeah, because of the inflation as well.
Yeah.
Okay. And at that time, I think because you say that your income is not very high, right? So how do you squeeze out a lot of people right now, because they are even their spending is even higher than what they are earning, and a lot of them go into credit card debt and have to use credit card to maintain their lifestyle for the So maybe for people who are facing this situation right now where they are in credit card debt, so what's your advice on trying to help them pare it down, and where can they find the place that they can probably cut out to save from their expenses?
Okay, so the first part of the question is about how to have a saving, right? So this is not hard to do. In fact, you know how much you made, right? So you just have to make sure that you spend less than that. So how do we do that? Is a lot of people don't have the emotional strength to control their spending, so that's why they tend to overspend. But once you know this, once you know that you cannot keep on spending more than you earn, so when you have that now, then you try to look at your saving rate. So if your saving rate is like 0 or negative, then how do you do that, right? So there are two parts of it. First, of course, you do offense, will be the best. Offensive play will be you have to make more money. You have to focus on a job, get an increment, or you do some side gig, start up business or something. So this is the first thing, and even when you do this and you don't control your spending, it's still going to be a big problem for everyone for not paying focus on the defense. So defensive play is you have to cut down on expense. So to cut down on expense, the first activity I would recommend is that you jot down everything you spend. So it's like, even you take the MRT ride, 1 ringgit 10 cents, you have to jot that down. So every ringgit you have to jot it down, and then you analyze on how much you spend on certain category. So I'm sure that you will find place where you can cut down. For example, there are subscription that you can cut off. For example, like Astro, maybe you don't need so many channels, or if you watch a sport channel, you don't have to subscribe to it. You can go to the Mama to watch with a data rate. It's even cheaper, right? And then There are all sorts of things that you can cut your expenses. Even your mobile phone bill, or like the data plan, maybe you cannot fully utilize. You have to cut it down to the lower package, things like that. So that I think there are always things that we can cut, because when uh, when you make 3,000, I think your lifestyle should be like keep to around spending at most 70-80% of what you make, and you have a
Okay.
saving of 30%. So for example, let's say you go to the bare minimum already. Let's say now this is all the time, all the thing you can cut, but you are still like making end meets already. So it's just like ngam ngam, right? So what
Yes.
do you do to have a saving? Is that you have a few years plan now, 2-3 years plan. So the next year, let's say you make a little bit more, 10% more, then you still maintain your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Of course, you will have the 10% saving
Yes.
rate. So give it another 1 or 2 years, then you can pump it up to like 30%.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's interesting. So, the two ways to attack it is to both increase your income, also try to systematically pare down your expenses. Yeah, I think now there's quite a few of like expenses app that you can even use. So much easier compared to last time. You have to
Yeah, last
rely on
time
a
we used
notebook.
notebook, right? Have to use notebook and then really write down everything, and then you
Yeah,
go
yeah.
home, power up your Microsoft Excel, and then you keep.
Yes, so it should be much easier now and no excuses. And I like the fact that you say that when say you're earning 3,000 right now, you save 80%. But if your income increases, you try to maintain the same lifestyle. Don't increase your lifestyle spending, and so your earnings rate shoot up. Maybe your earnings become 6,000. You're actually saving 50% if you're still
Yeah.
maintaining a $3,000 lifestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, for example, when even when you make more, right, you can increase your expense, so you can enjoy. It's no worry if when you make like 50,000 a year, a month, then you can still spend 70%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can spend 35,000. A lot to spend. I can still save 15,000. No, you can still save a lot.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. For people who are maybe facing some debt like a credit card debt or student loans or car debt, do you recommend that they quickly pare down this debt first, or they should save and invest that money and then just pare down the debt as per their schedule?
Oh, when you talk about debts, right? That is actually financing.
Mm.
So it's financing for you to do something, right?
Mm.
So if it is financing you to do investment, then it's fine. We keep that debt as long as possible, as long as the interest is low.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, what are the interest that is low? Maybe you look at mortgage is the lowest, right? 4.5%, and it can be I know the next maybe car loan up to like 5 to 6%, and then you come to like personal loan maybe 11 or 12, right? Effective rate, and then you come to like credit card more than 18%, and the rest will be like more than credit card, right? So. If you're talking about the debts that have very high interest, then of course it should be paid off as soon as possible, because you couldn't get that kind of return with your investment.
Yeah.
It's kind of impossible, right? Impossible for the long term. Uh, let's say you're investing in stock. If you're as good as Warren Buffett, you're getting like maybe 20% a year, but paying credit card debt of 18%, it doesn't make sense. You are making a very thin margin, right? So it doesn't make sense. But you're keeping your mortgage loan, then it makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's like 5%, and compared to
Okay.
20%, then you have like 15% of a margin of error.
Yes.
So by all means, keep that debt.
Yeah, definitely. I think you make a good point on finding out how much you can increase your income from your investment compared to how much you have to pay out from your debt. And if say the KLCI, I think for the long term, maybe they are just yielding about 7-8%
Yeah.
a year, right? And in the Singapore market as well, maybe 5 to 7%. So if your debt is higher than that, you should really consider paring it down rather than gambling, trying to beat the market.
Yes, you concluded it right.
Okay. Okay. Moving on, maybe on increasing the income also. I think your life story sort of showcased that after being in the finance line for a few years, you decided to start a blog and then try experimenting with online businesses. Is that a way, because you see that is a good way to implement your income at the time, or what's your plan for that?
Oh yeah, when the blog first started, right, I didn't have a clear picture of how to make money from it. It was just purely sharing the things I learned in the financial industry, because sometimes when my client would ask me something, I need to type a long email, or I have to talk to them, right? So why not I just use those material and then just put it up on the website like a blog, and I can send them a link. So eventually, when I keep doing that, I was quite consistent. I blogged for without getting paid for quite many months, and I think years. I don't even know how to monetize that. The only monetization I put up is the Google AdSense. So when you click on the ads, I get paid. But that's barely enough to sustain my lifestyle at that time. So eventually, it become like serving more of the strangers rather than my customers over a few months' time. So I get more people asking for more stuff. They want to learn like how to do insurance planning, how to do investment, those kind of thing. So later on, only I realized how to actually conduct this as an online business. So it's all through learning as well. Sign up some courses, learn from the successful internet marketers, learn how they conduct the business. So I just conduct the things in my niche, which is personal finance.
I see. Okay. And at that time, you were writing a book as well, right? Is that book part of the offering of your website, or is it?
Oh yeah, my book was the first one published in 2008. It's called Top Money Tips for Malaysians. And at that time, I was thinking just to get a book published, and then maybe give me some credential to do something else, maybe do some speaking gigs or things like that.
Okay.
But of course, the books turned out to be okay. It served its purpose, because you will get more publicity from the books, and then people think that you are an expert already because you have a book published. So it makes all the other things easier to conduct.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so you're growing your income and then trying to keep down your expenses at that time. How long does it actually take? From your experience, how long did you stick to it until you reach the point where you say that I think I already have quite a substantial passive income that I don't have to worry so much, and you can choose your own lifestyle now, right? Having your own business. So if someone is transitioning, maybe give them a sense of the timeline. How long does it take you to reach the point where you are more comfortable in your passive income in your life?
Yeah, when you talk about timeline, right, I think a plan should be around 10 years. I think if you talk about timelines. But I would say the reality is that we keep changing. We keep changing, we priority change, and our commitment change, and our life value also change. So, for example, right, when I study in the university, I spend 300, 400 ringgit a month. That's enough already. My room rental 100, then I spend 200 ringgit. That's enough for me. But later on, we get married, we have children, right?
Yeah.
Then and then you want to provide better stuff for your family. Of course, all the things you will keep growing. And I think it's a process. I will say I think the best advice I can give is that regarding this area is that when you think about financial freedom or retirement, you don't think of like you're spending this kind of money, and then you have to back this money in 10 years, and then you suddenly quit your job, stop everything, and then you go and retire, and then you do whatever you want. And I will say that when you do this, most people will be very might be disappointed when they retire. They don't have a sense of purpose already. They don't know what to do in their life.
Are you speaking from experience?
Yes. It's like if you now let's say you ask me, should I just sell all my things, sell all my business, I can sell all my property, liquidate everything, and then I move to somewhere, I live frugally the rest of my life. I don't think I want that life. When you have when you achieve certain stages in your life, it's more like you want to contribute to the society or you want to contribute to your family. It just keep changing.
Yes. Yes.
So I think the goal should be you should have you should keep upgrading. Just get out of your comfort zone and then do better. Because of course now if I you ask me to retire, I can spend 10,000 a month, no worry, okay, can. But no, I'm striving for more now.
Yeah,
you see, I think it's the same for you also, right, Stanley?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I got that view mainly from reading a book by Tony Robbins, where he talked about the real truth to happiness. The happiness of human is really about progress. You need to have some progress in your life. You need something that the next aim. What's the next aim? If you don't have that, or you just have enough money to spend to sustain your life, that's you won't find fulfillment.
Yeah, but especially for someone like they maybe they hate their job, right? They say, okay, I'm gonna work die for these 10 years and then I'm going to retire. All these kind of people normally they will get very disappointed when they retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not just focus on saving up for your wealth, but also saving up mentally on things to do as well. Yeah. Okay. We have a question from Victor. Hi, Victor. He's asking, what is the best way that you have in beating high inflation and low wage growth era at this time? Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is about playing on the offense, right? So of course, I think the best investment, of course, in yourself, because once you increase your capability and then increase the value you provide for your employer to your customers, then you increase your income. So when you increase your income, it is not like one-off thing, When you do that, you increase your income for this year, it's like perpetuate for all the rest of the years. Unless you are talking about playing basketball, like LeBron James, of course, he cannot play it forever, right? But for like business, when we do a business, we provide value to our customers. Then when we do that, then it tends to like, if you can make more this year, then the next year it will be like, you just keep growing, right?
Yep.
So the first thing you play on the offense, you invest in yourself, get better, make more money. So the second thing, of course, when you have that money, of course, you cannot plow everything back just into your brain and then make it like explode, right? You couldn't do that. You still have money left behind. Then use that money to invest, no?
Yeah.
You have to learn to do invest in other people's business like stocks and then buy some properties. So mainly these are the things, very simple. Invest to get better on yourself or invest in other people's business, and you will definitely beat inflation.
Okay. So maybe this is more of your personal view. When you are choosing between, say, property and stocks, how do you make say you have this sum of money right now, how do you make the decision whether I should buy another shop lot or I should invest in the stock market?
I invest in both. So I would say, like, let's say for young people, when you get started, right, because you have long financing horizon, you can have long tenure, like 35 years for your loan. So you make it very leverage for advantageous for young people to start with properties. And then since properties is more on a long-term play, so it will not go wrong if you buy a property that is like people would like to stay in it, and then you keep it for 10 years, 20 years, surely it won't go wrong. And then I also do stocks, because stocks it complement property as well, because stocks give me the liquidity that I need for property. When if you are over leveraged, you buy all properties, and if there's a economic downturn where you have a cash crunch, that means you don't have enough cash to pay your installment. Let's say some of your properties are vacant, then your rental income is not coming in enough to pay all your mortgages obligation. Then you are in a cash crunch situation. So that's when it is handy when you have liquid assets like stocks.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I think the property sector, especially say if you're talking about property market in Johor, people has really seen a lot of cash crunch over the past few years with the sector.
Yeah, I think one thing I didn't mention also, when you first started, when you go in properties first, right, and then later on when you want to accumulate even more wealth, I think stocks and business is the way to go.
Okay.
Yeah, because as you know, when you buy, just very simple analogy, when you buy your property in Permas Jaya, Stanley, you stay in Permas Jaya, right? Is it a double story terrace house?
Yeah, that was sorry.
Okay, so after 30 years, it's still a double story terrace house, right? Unless you build another story or stories. but for example, if you buy stocks, let's say you bought Coca-Cola back in the 60s,
Yes.
or you bought Berkshire back in the 60s, like 16 ringgit, $16 of Berkshire Hathaway, now it's like 300,000, right?
Yes.
$16 become 300,000.
Exactly.
But during that period, your terrace house is still a terrace house. So that thing cannot happen on the stock, on the properties, but it can happen on the stocks.
Yes. Yeah.
Because good business keep growing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's why I tend to buy more stocks as well than property.
Nice.
Okay. So I guess yeah. So right now I think Casey has shown us, how we can find ways to increase our passive income. At the same time, some of the tips to reduce our expenses as well. In fact, Casey actually has a ebook that you can download. I'll share with you a link later on. Or you can just go to kclau.com/lp. It's the 44 personal finance market tips that you can download straight away. And he talk a lot about just practical guides on how you can invest, save up more, especially if you are a Malaysian staying here. And I think that's very fruitful. And thank you so much for your time, Casey. I really appreciate and learn a lot from you over the past few months, and I hope we can invite you again soon.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure to talk to you. Thank you, Stanley, for the invitation. So for those who are interested to get my ebooks, you can go to that page, kclau.com/lp. It's free. Of course, you have to enter your email and name so that I can send you more, because I have volume 2, 3, 4 is coming up.
Yes, definitely. Wow, great. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Casey. Hope to speak to you soon.
Thanks, Stanley. You have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.